Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my podcast. This is episode 2 titled Culture and Comedy. Today, we're going to be talking, I'm sure you know already, culture and comedy. We're going to be going through a couple different things. We're going to be going with some just regular topics first, and then we'll get into like the actual discussion. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things, such as odd plastic surgery choices, Impractical Jokers, the TV show. Then we're going to be talking about, I wanted to, move, from jokes and, little cool, cute stuff to what is black culture in America. So then we're going to be talking about what is black culture, the difference between African and black American. And yes, there is a difference. So we're going to get into that. And then we're going to be talking about TikTok and like the Afro People War. I'm calling it Afro People War because that's just how, I'm describing it at the moment. Basically, that is a something that's going on between black, African, mostly UK people and black Americans. It's something, some kind of dispute going on between the two. And we'll be getting into that and what that is all about. And then we're going to be talking about what new black people or this new black generation are starting to call themselves that identify as who we are as black people. Then I want to talk about Baby Reindeer. Baby Reindeer is a show by kind of like a mini series by Richard Gould. It's very interesting, very crazy story. We're gonna get into that soon, and then we're talking about a lot today. We're defining comedy and what is a comic today. We're gonna be going through like new comics of today. What are they talking about? How do we define comedy anymore? What is comedy now? And then we're gonna lastly, we're gonna be talking about TV and how there's nothing on it. So let's get into it. Toe BBLs. Whoever has a toe BBL, I just want you to know that you are a sick individual who needs to be hospitalized. And I'm being completely honest. If you've ever seen a toe BBL, it's this. Okay, let me explain to you what it is. It's for people who are slimming down their big toes to make them look more presentable in some way. Now, this is a sick practice, and whoever does this needs to be immediately jailed for life. They need to be put on death row, and I'm not kidding, because this surgery or whatever people are doing is unnecessary. And then I'm seeing hashtag Tobesity then and now pictures. I'm not here for it because it's making people's feet look very Neanderthalic, It's making people look very baboonish, and like they could possibly climb a tree or walk on a volcano. It's giving a very ancestral look that I'm not here for, should I say. So yes, I'm against toe BBLs, and it needs to be stopped. It needs to be put to an end. Put a pin in it, please, because it's not necessary. These BBLs are literally, first of all, it's embarrassing y'all, and they're killing y'all. Okay? We need to get past this, people. As a community, as a society, we need to be stronger. We need to be stronger than the toe BBLs. Okay, that was just my message. I hope that inspired many. It's almost a disease. Toe BBLs. It's an epidemic. We gotta get stronger. The community has to get better, and we have to heal from this. Let's talk about the show Impractical Jokers. Now, a lot of people, I think the show Impractical Jokers, if you don't know what it is, let me explain it. I have to get better at that. I have to explain stuff before I start just getting into it. But the show Impractical Jokers is made out of, 4 guys, Joe, Sal, Murr, and Q. And basically they do like little challenges, and whoever can't complete the challenges, get punished at the end of the episode, in some type of daredevil type way. Now, I think this show is heavily influenced by its fans. And I think this is what caused its kind of decline and downfall as the recent year has come, for the show. Now, Joe Gatto, which is a fan favorite, has left Impractical Jokers and moved on. I don't know what he's dealing with. I think he might be dealing with a divorce. That's speculation. That's speculation. He might be dealing with a divorce, but that's as much as I know from that situation. But I know that he has left the show, and now it's just Merc, Q, and Sal. They are they're not the most entertaining by themselves. I think that's because Joe Gatto was kind of the daredevil of the group. He would take on the hardest challenges. And now it's kind of boring because the challenges are kind of meh. They're bland. So we're not getting the content that we used to get from Impractical Jokers, when they first started back in the day. But I feel like the fans could be a little bit more supportive. I think that it's really taking a hit because the fans aren't into it. And I don't know how that can be improved. So, sorry to the Impractical Jokers. It seems like their time has come to end the show, and move on to bigger, better things. Maybe even working individually by themselves. Break up the band, maybe. It worked for One Direction. It could work for you. Um, I feel like I sound harsh, but it's the truth. And sometimes that's what people need to know. And, you're always going to get the truth on the real rundown. Okay, so let's get into culture. I feel like my mic is turned up way too high. Let me turn that down. Okay, let's get into culture. Comedy and culture. I have like a Deo Kool-Aid on my desk. If you couldn't tell that I'm black already, you can probably tell from that statement. I'm surprised that Kool-Aid isn't I feel like it's a classy drink, you know? I feel like it's something that you could put in your basement and age for a while. I feel like when, the world's over from, I don't know, we experience fallout or something, I feel like humans might not be here, but Kool-Aid will always exist. It is the now, the then, and the present. Kool-Aid is um it's special. It's a special thing. And it's very special to the black community. I don't know how this goes into the next conversation. I just love Kool-Aid. But let me move on. What is being a black American? Black culture. Black culture is most of everything in America, or so it seems. No, not so it seems. It is. And you can fight me on that because it's the truth. There has been a lot of different controversy, especially around country music this year, on where if black people can do country music. And the answer is, of course. Because country music is not technically, it is. I gotta stop saying, because I'm trying to not upset people. But like I said, you're gonna get the truth on the real rundown. Country music is black. It originated from blues, country blues. Therefore, it has been honestly kind of watered down by white Americans. Um, just like any other genre, country of, black music. Blues is black, jazz is black, country music is black, rock is black, hip hop is black, pop, I'm not sure. I would have to research that one. But mostly everything that America calls music, that the world calls music really, is black and was created by black people in America. Okay. Number two, black culture. Clothing in America is highly influenced by black culture, especially black culture of the 90s and 2000s. That right now, all the rage, black culture on display. And these words that people are using, this TikTok media language is actually, and I hate when people say, "Oh, this is slang. This is internet language." which is very wrong, very untrue. This these things that you're saying, that you guys are saying currently on TikTok and on social media, the stuff that you're also using very incorrectly, that is AAVE. What AAVE is African American Vernacular English. I've been seeing a lot of comments on AAVE saying, "Oh, this internet language is starting to get cringy." How? How can a language start to be cringy? It's only cringy because it was stolen and colonized and watered down, and now it's whack. Now people don't want to hear it because people are using it incorrectly and are not of the culture. So it doesn't hit the same. How can you call a language whack? That's interesting to me because nobody has ever said Spanish is cringy. Nobody has ever said that Zulu is cringy. Questions? Anybody? Does that make sense to anybody else? It's funny how black culture can so easily be disposed when it's taken apart and colonized. It's so funny how black people are so disposable to the rest of the world. Interesting. It's interesting to me. You have to cut it out, people. If you're going to take the culture, if you're going to colonize, at least give black people the credit where it's due. We can't even get that much. So I'm sorry. Yes, Becky wants her hair braided into cornrows. But let's stop. Because you would never do this. Because black culture needs to be taken as what it is. A special, significant, ancient, almost, culture. Everything we've done, everything we've created should be respected just as any other culture. So if we tell you, Becky, that you can't wear cornrows because they're significant to our culture, which they are, and if you don't know the historical background of cornrows, you should probably research it because it has a lot to do with the American slavery. If we tell you, Becky, you can't wear cornrows, then you must respect that. You have to respect it. I'm sorry that, a lot of people are like, well, black people, they have a problem with you doing anything. That's because everything we do is always colonized, is always stolen. It's always watered down and becomes white, becomes American, which is not American. It's black American. And I feel like the emphasis needs to be put on that. Respect us, respect black people, respect our culture. And if we say stay out of it because it's a closed practice. Everything we do is a closed practice. And that's the decision of black people. Moving on. What is the difference between African and black American? Now, this has been a lot of debate. Personally, I identify as a black American. I don't identify as African American or African because I'm not either of those. And it will be discrediting, I feel like, or it will be putting me into a box with people who are actually African and who are actually African American. Now, this is getting into this TikTok debate on between African and black people. So the way this started off was there was this TikTok going around. I'll put the TikTok on the screen. So if you want to type that in, I'll put it on the screen. It was this TikTok going around that basically was saying that it was this young lady who was saying black people don't know where they came from. And she said black people have black people have no culture because they don't know where they came from. We do, she says. We know where we came from. I'm this place in Africa. I'm part of this place in Africa. It's exhausting. This conversation is exhausting. Now, when I saw this TikTok immediately, I was like, okay, interesting. But thankfully, there was a young American, black American interviewer who was interviewing this young lady, and he asked her this question that probably changed her life that day. He asked her, "Where are you from?" She said, "I'm from Jamaica." Girl, what? Now, if you know anything about history, you know that black people did not originate in Jamaica. They are not native. Black people are not native to Jamaica. Yes, they have been there for decades, maybe centuries, but they are not native to Jamaica. Because of colonization, they are in Jamaica. So, I'm confused after she says this. And he says, well, wasn't Jamaica colonized as well? She looks dumbfounded. This is because this is an argument that goes nowhere. Unless African people, you can't say anything. Because unless you can tell me, and this is another thing, there was another TikTok right after that one, I'll put it up on the screen, that was talking, this man was basically talking about this debate going on between black and African people, and he was saying, Nigeria was, let me see when Nigeria was established. When was Nigeria founded? Nigeria was founded, okay, listen to this, people, because this is very, very important. Nigeria was founded in 1963. Let's see when Georgia was founded. Of America, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. When was Atlanta, Georgia founded? Atlanta, Georgia was founded in 1845. 1845. Let me reiterate. Nigeria was founded in 1963. Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia was founded in 1845. So when I tell you, African people, when I tell you I'm from America and my family is from Atlanta, Georgia, please do not say, well, where are you really from? Because Atlanta, Georgia was founded way before Nigeria. So unless you can tell me what tribe you come from, you have no argument in the conversation. And where does this argument come from? Is it from jealousy? What is it from? Please let me know. I hope it's not from jealousy. We have to, as black people in general, we have to be able to identify the importance of our own culture, as separate as they are. So when I say that I'm a black American, please don't debate me on that, because it's the truth. And it's funny to me how everybody can identify as everything in 2023. In 2024, I mean. But I can't say I'm a black American. I can't identify as a black American. That's interesting to me. It's fishy. Is it fishy to anybody else? Because it's fishy to me. It's exhausting. It's an exhausting conversation. Very serious one, though. But it needs to be cut out. Can we all just get along? This is going to be my final statement. Don't forget everything I said, but forget about the arguing about it. Can we all just get along? Can we respect each other? Can we take all that envy and jealousy and put it behind us? You know what else? And then I'm going to say this and I want to leave it there. It was another TikTok. I'll put it up on the screen of this young lady saying, black people in America don't know where they come from. They don't have culture. Everything they have is from Africa. You know the irony of what she was saying? She was saying all this with a do-rag on. I'll leave it at that. Let's get on to what the new black generation is calling themselves, since we can't call ourselves black Americans, apparently. People are starting to call themselves Sulan. Black Americans are starting to call themselves Sulan for women and Sulani for men. Sulan and Sulani are defined as of the soul, meaning Sulan and Sulani means of the soul. It goes along with a lot of the things that we name in our culture, like soul food or, So Sulani, Soulaaan or Saulaani for Sulani. But yes, if you want to identify as a black American, please do so, black people. The time is done. The time is now that we start loving ourselves, being ourselves, taking our culture back. Stop letting these people colonize you and break you down to the point that you are easy to dispose of. Okay? Okay. We all agree. Let's talk about Baby Reindeer. Baby Reindeer was produced by Richard Galt. Jessica Gunny is the supporting actress in the story. This story is absolutely insane. It's absolutely crazy. It is about. Let me actually look at the thing. Okay, Baby Reindeer. Let's read it. Baby Reindeer follows writer and performer Richard Galt warped relationship with a female stalker and the impact it has on him as he is ultimately forced to face a deep, dark, buried trauma. Yes, so in this movie or in this mini-series, it feels like a whole movie. It's so good. But he is basically facing a stalker, and the whole question around this story is, why didn't he report it sooner? And he talks about why he didn't report it sooner in the movie, because as a entertainer, as he went to London to become an entertainer, he had to go through a few executives, producers who took advantage of him when he was in the entertainment business. And one of the statements that he says in the show, which this might be a spoiler to many who want to watch it, but he says basically along the lines of, it didn't feel right for me to report her if I couldn't report him, talking about his abuser from the entertainment business. So going in with that statement, think about how this show might be if you haven't watched it yet. It's crazy. He has to deal with a lot of deep secrets that he has. He has to deal with all of that stuff on top of having a stalker. And I like his message with it, because in an interview that I watched with him, he said basically that he didn't want the movie or the show to be easy. He didn't want it to feel like he was the victim and it was solely the stalker's fault. He wanted people to realize that he had some fault in his situation as well. So it kind of is very different than many stalker films or stalker episodic series, because usually the blame is put only on the stalker. So it's really a different perspective, because it showcases what he did to provoke this type of situation to happen to him. So that's really interesting. How is he now, though? There was a later interview, I think around maybe sometime this month, last month or this month, where he talked about, is there going to be another Baby Reindeer and like Baby Reindeer season, because we only have one season on Netflix. And he said no. He said he really liked the way that the story ended, and he wouldn't add anything to it. The story is pretty much done. But season 1 is fantastic, and honestly, I agree with him. I don't think it needs to have anything added to it. I think the story was great the way it ended, and I really extremely enjoyed it. Okay, let's talk about let's define comedy. What is a comic today? What is it? Because I feel like when I was younger, there was kings of comedy. We had Bernie Mac. We had um, Cedric the Entertainer, Steve Harvey, Martin Lawrence, Jamie Foxx, Chris Tucker, Chris Rock. Who else? Am I missing anybody? I'm probably missing Cat Williams. Oh wow, yeah, Cat Williams, Dave Chappelle. We had a lot of those. It was a lot of great comedy, especially coming from the '90s. The '90s was the pinnacle of Black culture everywhere. But yeah, there was a lot of great comedy in those times, in that time period. So what is comedy today? Who are the comics of today? Well, this is just my opinion. This comics. There's a lot of them. There are a lot of them today. Even though we don't see them all, and they're not all the best, and most of them are not stand-up comics. But I feel like being a stand-up comic doesn't mean much today. It used to. It used to mean a lot, and I still feel like we need more stand-up comedians. But yeah, it's just this. We living in a technological age. So most people do comedy on the internet. So Brittany Broski, one of my favorite comedians, and I'm gonna say comedian because like she is a comedian. And we can give her that title officially because she is the funniest person that I've watched on YouTube, and I follow her podcast. What is it called? I listen to it every day. I don't know how I'm forgetting, how I'm blanking. The daily, I think it's the Daily Broski Report. Yeah, Daily Broski Report. I love the Daily Broski Report. It's so entertaining. I would go watch it if I was you. She talks about so many stuff, and honestly, she's a big inspiration for what I'm doing now. Yeah. And then Theo Vaughn. Now, every time I say Theo Vaughn is one of my favorite anythings, I get immediately terrified because I don't know what he's going to say in the future because he's one of those kind of comics or comedians where it's like he be saying some wild stuff. So, like I said in the last video, Theo Vaughn, don't embarrass me. You know, keep it PG sometimes at least. You know, for me, because I don't want to wake up to like a TikTok with saying, "Oh, Theo Vaughn did this," and then I gotta be like, "Oh, yeah, I was never a big fan. What I said on my podcast was very untrue." And knowing damn well I meant every word that I said. Um, but yes, Theo Vaughn is pretty cool. I think he's a very interesting kind of comedian. He is starring. I think he's starring in something new with Johnny Knoxville. I have to look that up and what that movie is called because I actually said that I wanted to watch that. Like I want to watch that because I'm obsessed with Johnny Knoxville. Um, Johnny Knoxville. What is he doing now? Now that I think about it, I like more like Daredevil TV. I think because Johnny Knoxville was on um Jack Donkey. It's a word that I can't say right now, not on the podcast. But if you want to know what I'm talking about, you can look up Johnny Knoxville, and it should be the first thing that comes up because that was his thing. But he has a new movie coming out this year. I think it already come out called Sweet Dreams. And it follows Morris who must coach a misfit softball team of his fellow housemates during his mandatory stay at Sweet Dreams Sober Living in order to get his life back on track. Okay, I'm interested already. I saw the trailer for it and it looked very amazing. And it's a role that I haven't seen Johnny Knoxville like play in before. I know that he's an actor cuz he's been in like a few movies. But I don't think I've ever watched him on anything but Jack Donkey. And that his it's funny. Like he plays the funny guy most of the time, or the daredevil, the funny daredevil. So seeing him play a semi-serious role is going to be interesting for me to watch, and I'll probably talk about it on a podcast, one of these episodes. Um, oh, and then Druski. Oh, Theo Vaughn is also in that movie, Sweet Dreams. So yes, go watch it if you can, and we can talk about it if you know me. When you can probably talk about it with me. If you don't know me and you're a new listener, type it in comments. Type what you thought about it if you watch it. Druski. Druski is one of my favorites. He was just on Kai Sinet's stream doing a little sleepover with Kevin Hart and some other house guests. But yeah, Kevin Hart's cool. I thought, yeah, Kevin Hart, I forgot to mention him in like comedy people, iconic comedy people, but Kevin Hart is definitely iconic in terms of comedy. But I feel like Druski is one of those upcoming people, and I love when comedians don't like feed you jokes. I like when people are just naturally funny, and I really enjoy that. Like I enjoy when people are naturally funny and they're not just trying to feed you content. And I feel like sometimes people just say stuff because they actually feel that way. And I think Brittany Broski and Druski and a little bit of Theo Vaughn really take on those characteristics of being just naturally funny people. They're really gifted. Their timing is always great. So in terms of comedy, I feel like those are the top three people that I really look to as the up and rising kind of comedian comedy people. Let's talk about TV. What's on TV nowadays? Pretty much nothing. And I've noticed this because I've been watching TV over the summer and I have not been able to find a good show to watch. And it irritates me because why not? You know what I'm saying? Um, Neighbors need to calm down a little bit. But why not? You remember like when you were little, late night TV used to be the thing. You used to want to stay up late to watch, all the stuff that was coming on, like all the game shows, all the comedy, like sitcoms, and late night television host. Like that was a thing. Like, and I know we still have that. We still have Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel and Steve Colbert, but Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel aren't as entertaining to me, at least nowadays. It's just I don't see passion. I don't see late night passion into it. I'm like, how many more Paul Rudd interviews can we do before we all get exhausted with it? Can we go outside? Can we touch grass? That's how I feel every time I watch late night television now. Stephen Colbert, he's pretty cool. I just like the people that he interviews. I like the energy that he brings to the stage. But one late night host that I absolutely enjoy, and I've been watching his remotes as of late, just the old ones because he's now off air in terms of being a late night host, is Conan O'Brien. I think Conan O'Brien is also a really great comedian and one of those people that I was talking about, like, is just like naturally funny. And I think he was the idea of what a late night host should be. Like, just committed to the bit, committed to comedy, committed to connecting with the audience and people around him. And I liked that he's one of the late night hosts that I see going out to different places. Like, he went to Haiti, he went to, I think he went to Cuba, and many other places to visit so many people, Israel. It's just interesting to me that nobody else, I feel like, does that. I don't feel the passion for late night TV anymore. And I think Conan O'Brien, I feel like you can tell when that late night television or late night TV was someone's goal. It was someone's goal to have. And I think Conan O'Brien was reaching for to be a late night TV host. Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, I feel like they ended up there because why not? I feel like they were chosen for it. And maybe Conan O'Brien was too, but I feel like that it was something that he wanted to do, something that he did and did amazingly. Like, I'm always entertained by his show. And I'm surprised that he's off air now and didn't get the ratings, the best ratings that Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, the ratings that they got, because I feel like he was honestly 10 times better than all of them. But I digress. Um, and I think I think I gotta wrap it up because I think that's all I have for you today. Thank you again for watching this silly little podcast. Hopefully, I sparked your interest in some different topics and different thoughts. You can tell that this podcast is a little bit more planned out than the last one. And let me talk about the last one and the comments that I got from that. I got called by my own mother anti-American. Let me set the record straight. I love this freaking country. Okay? But I feel like I'm a patriot as well. Because, listen, because what's more American than being anti-American? Let's be completely honest. If you think that this country is just the best thing ever and it has no flaws, you're a liar, you're a fake, and you're a cheat. And you don't actually love this country. Because if you like something, if you love something, if you enjoy something, you always find different ways to critique it to make it better. So let's not lie. There's a lot of things wrong with this country. It could be better, a lot better. Very much so. That's why I also hate when people are somebody says something maybe negative or criticizing America, and they're like, at least you're not in this country. At least, first of all, very, very disrespectful to any other country. Because I'm sure they have things that are negative about them, but I'm sure they have things that are very beautiful about them as well. And for you to ignore the criticism from actual Americans about America is interesting to me. And that's why I hope that we will, but I think that's why we will never be healed as Americans. Regardless, I was called anti-American. I don't hate America. I just think that it could be a lot better than it is today. And that's just my thoughts on it. You can fight me if you want to. Actually, put it in the comments, because the more comments that the more that stuff that y'all type, the more my views pick up. But regardless, I want to see comments. I want to see your outlook on things. But yes, thank you for listening. Let's talk about what we have in the next episode a little bit. So the next episode will be titled, should I tell you the title? Yeah, I'll tell you the title so you'll be interested. Next podcast, next episode will be called Stop Watching Dead People and Listening to Demons. I bet you're like, what are we going to be talking about then? We're going to be talking about reality TV for dead people. In that I'm saying Ghost Adventures. If you don't know what Ghost Adventures is, watch it so that you have a little bit of background information, even though I'll explain it to you in the next episode. And maybe it might spark your interest to watch it when I explain it. So maybe just wait. I don't know. You do you. And then we'll be talking, where is Zach Bagans? I don't know. I got some information for you, though. And then Teresa Caputo. Is she the real thing or a myth? We'll be talking about Sam and Kobe, who they are, and how they might have captured one of the best pieces of paranormal investigating evidence that I've ever seen. And it has yet to be disproven or debunked. So we have to talk about that. We have to get into it. And we'll be talking a little bit about aliens. I have to see what I come up with for that. I might invite some special people on for that segment. So, be excited. And then, is the music industry casting spells on their listeners? Somebody will definitely be here as a guest for that segment as well. And she is definitely, I'm sure, ready to talk about it and willing to talk about it. So keep up listening. And then I'll have some more shows for you guys. I don't know what shows I'll bring up to you next episode, but I'll have something for you. Believe you me, because I'm thinking about watching Presumed Innocent, the new Jake Gyllenhaal series that just came out on Apple TV, I'm pretty sure. So I'll come to you with that, and then we'll also talk about Roadhouse, the movie that he was just in this year, and we'll talk about how it made me feel, because I love that movie now. Have not seen the original, but we'll talk about the new one, and then maybe I might watch the original, and then we'll talk about that in another podcast. But that's what we have for episode 3. I hope you enjoyed episode 2, and I hope it was thought provoking. I hope it was everything that you needed it to be. I enjoyed having you. Thank you. Bye. Again, my name is Wallow, and you can like and subscribe if you want to. And if you want to have more videos from me, guess what? You can. Just hit that notification bell, and you will be notified whenever I drop a new video. Thanks again for listening.